Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Here.
Mulligan.
Here.
Stothard.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Festerson.
Here.
Mr. President.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and would you remain standing for the invocation by Councilmember Chris Jerem?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember the victims of recent violence, those that were injured, those who lost their lives, and the family members and friends who are dealing with those losses. Thank you.
Amen.
City Clerk certifies publication in the Daily Record on April 1st notice for a pre-council regular City Council meeting April 5th, 2011. A current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
If you have a cell phone or a pager, we'd ask that you turn it off or to vibrate. Mr. Clerk, first item.
We'll take items 5 through 8. It's all one case. There are zoning ordinances and planning board attachments. Item number 5, ordinance to rezone property located southwest of 175th and Emmett Street from DR and R5 to R5 single urban family residential district. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval. 6 is resolution preliminary plat entitled Whispering Ridge West Replat 2 is hereby accepted. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval. 7 is the replat transmitted herewith entitled Whispering Ridge Replat 2 is hereby approved. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval. And 8 is a subdivision agreement with SNID 549 is hereby approved.
Public hearing on items 5 through 8 begin now. Are there any proponents?
Mark Westergaard with E&A Consulting Group, 330 North 117th Street. This project is at 175th, just south of Maple. It takes some existing single-family lots and is replatting them into a larger lot for a memory care facility. And that is the extent of this project, so we ask for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Move the approval.
Roll call.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
They're all passed 7-0. Now, resolutions, preliminary plats and subdivision agreements. We have 9 through 11 is 1. 9 is resolution of the preliminary plat entitled Good Shepherd's Evangelical Lutheran Church of Omaha Wells, located at 5071 Center Street, is hereby accepted. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval. 10 is resolution the replat is hereby approved. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval. And 11 is resolution subdivision agreement is hereby approved.
Public hearing on items 9 through 11 begin now. Are there any proponents?
I'm Dean Yeager with Thompson, Dreesen, and Dorner, 10836 Old Mill Road, representing the Good Shepherd Evangelical Lutheran Church. The project is the combining of several lots and vacating an existing alley to provide space to expand the church facility and parking lot. There is a easement being platted from the active alley out to 51st Street for access to the alley that remains. All utilities are in place. No public utilities need to be constructed for this project, and we respectfully request your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
They're adopted 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, agenda items number 12 through 13 shall be laid over for 2 weeks. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda item number 14 through 15 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Liquor, item number 16 and 17 go together. It's the Zone, 2615 South 120th Street. A Class C liquor license, new application, no location. They're adding catering. You note your reports. And 17 is the catering application for the same applicant, same location. You have communications from their attorney requesting a one-week layover and a continuation of the public hearing.
Do we have a motion for that?
To approve 1 week layover and continue the public hearing.
Roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson,
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
And Jerem passes a second time for a potential conflict of interest. It's laid over 1 week, 6-0-1 passing. Item number 18 is the Zen Room, 316 South 15th Street, Class C liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on item number 18 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, Jennifer Taylor, 8712 West Dodge Road. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. The applicant, Mr. Ryan Gish, is here. He is a current liquor license holder and owner of a local restaurant. We ask your approval of this today.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Second, roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson,
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Approved 7-0. Item number 19, Saigon Surface, 324 South 14th Street, Class I liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on item number 19 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, my name is Tu Nguyen. We open up a Saigon Surface at 234 14 South 14th Street. And we ask you to approve the license.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
It's approved 7-0. Item number 20 is Party Cove, 3525 North 147th Street, Suite 201, a Class I liquor license, no application, no location. They're also requesting an amendment to include the outside area.
Public hearing on item number 20 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Edward Hofflander, 7239 South Harrison Hills Drive, President of TPTB Entertainment. Asking for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
The amendment? Well, the amendment first.
Motion to approve the amendment. We have a second. Roll call.
Gray, Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes. Second. Roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
It's approved as amended 7-0. Item number 21, Anderson Food Shop, 445 North 114th Street, package liquor license, no application, no locations, and upgrade.
Public hearing on item number 21 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, members of the council. I'm Michael Lazar, 8712 West Dodge Road. Ray Anderson, the owner of Ray Anderson Inc., is here. He's operated the Anderson Amoco and now BP station since 1962 here in Omaha, and has a liquor license, an off-sale beer license at this location. Is asking for an upgrade to sell all types of alcoholic beverages for carryout. Ask your approval of that application.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Move the approval.
Roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan, Stothard, Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Approved 7-0. Item number 22, Valentino's at 10190 Maple Street, request permission to appoint Anthony Messinino, manager.
Public hearing on item number 22 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, I'm Anthony Messinio of Valentino's.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Roll call.
Gray,
Yes.
Jerem, Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
It's approved 7-0. Item 23, Avancia Supermarkets, number 733 at 2900 Leavenworth Street. Request permission to appoint Philip DeBolt, manager.
Public hearing on item number 23 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Gray. Jerem. Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
It's approved 7-0. Item number 24. Quick Shops are requesting permission to appoint Mark Cook, manager of the store at 9545 Q Street, at 3103 North 204th Street, at 3606 Leavenworth Street, at 5929 North 72nd Street, 9606 F Street.
Public hearing on item number 24 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Mark Cook, 7333 North 77th Street, representing Quick Shop. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
They're approved 7-0. Item number 25, EHPV Lottery Services granted approval to operate a Big Red satellite Keno location at Brewburgers, 7515 Pacific Street. We have communications and support.
Public hearing on item number 25 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, my name is Katrina Coffey. I'm Vice President of Marketing for Big Red Keno. We're located at 11248 John Galt Boulevard. I have with me today Steve Warren. He's the owner of the Brewburgers. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Move the approval.
Roll call.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank
Adopted
you.
7-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause an item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed unless otherwise provided by City Council rules of order.
Public hearings on agenda item numbers 26 through 30 were held on March 29th. Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second. Roll call.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
They're all passed 7-0.
Public hearing on agenda item numbers 31 through 40 begin now. 31 through 40 begin now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Roll call.
Gray. Jerem. Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Mr. President.
Yes.
They're all adopted 7-0. Ordinance is on second reading. Item number 41, ordinance to approve the execution of a purchase agreement with Riverview Properties LLC for the purchase of land and office building, 5-story warehouse, rail, and severance damages to authorize the mayor to execute 2 leases of city right-of-way, one near 3rd and Woolworth Avenue and the other near 2nd and Riverview Road.
Public hearing on item number 41 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Next item.
Item 42, ordinance declaring the necessity of acquiring property by voluntary acquisition for the implementation of the Neighborhood Stabilization Program.
Public hearing on item number 42 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Next item.
Item 43, ordinance to accept the bid of Miller Golf Cars for the lease of 72 gas-powered golf cars for the golf division of the Parks Department.
Public hearing on item number 43 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Next item.
Item 44, special ordinance laying a special tax assessment on all lots and pieces of real estate within Street Improvement District 6873 and Sanitary Sewer District 1578 to cover the cost of constructions and improving streets and sewers in Decatur Street from 84th Avenue to 85th Street, Seward Street from 84th Avenue to 85th Street, and 84th Avenue from Decatur Street to Seward Street and the 84th Terrace.
Public hearing on item number 44 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson?
Thanks, Mr. President. We talked about this case a little bit in pre-council, but just for the record, this is in my district, and it's around the 84th in Decatur, 85th in the Seward area, and was a new subdivision that was approved several years ago, but has been kind of problematic for the neighborhood because the development fell through, and my understanding is the property is now owned by the bank. And what this measure would do is to assess the bank, but I wanted to maybe engage Mr. Stubbe in just a quick conversation about the city's intentions with that. I guess the first question, Mr. Stubbe, is that an accurate characterization of where things stand with this property, that the streets have been put in, no sidewalks, no other development? It's the city's understanding that the bank now owns this property?
That is correct. It's a street improvement district that's somewhat different than a normal residential development that's outside of the city of Omaha. So it's creating a street improvement district, and those costs then would be assessed back to the properties.
And your name, sir, for the
Bob Stubbe, Public Works. Thank you, Mr.
And when we say
Clerk.
thanks, and when we say assessed back to the property owners, that's the bank in this case.
That's correct. From what I understand, all the lots are owned by the bank. The original developer is no longer involved in that particular project.
And the city views this as a necessary step because if the bank pays those assessments, then they can move forward with developing the lot as intended by the subdivision agreement.
That is correct.
And the city's intention is to enforce that should it happen.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next item.
Resolution, item number 45, resolution attached settlement agreement and release between the City of Omaha and Cox Communications Omaha providing payment to the city to settle claims for unpaid cable television franchise fees due to the city is hereby approved.
Public hearing on item number 45 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Mulligan?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Salvage dealer business, item number 46, resolution, the application of Midwest Metals Recycling Company to establish salvage dealers business at 4918 F Street is hereby approved.
Public hearing on item number 46 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Gray? Jerem? Was that a no? Good. Mulligan?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted on a 6-1 vote. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, the public hearing on agenda items number 47 through 52 shall be held on the third reading. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7C, the public hearing on agenda items 53 through 56 shall be held on the second reading.
We have a motion to adjourn. Roll call.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
2:20.